Okay. So let's start the session today. So mainly I'm going to focus on test management in Agile. And so how we are going to do the test management in Agile. Basically, I will little bit deep dive on Agile very first, and then we'll look at how this Agile is going to help on testing aspects. Basically, we will look at a few topics. Basically, how basically the introduction about the Agile and how Agile development in practice and how quality assurance and quality management take place in Agile. So that's what I'm going to cover today's session. So I think this we discussed very beginning as well. So before we move into the Agile, I think we were actually software development life cycle started with the waterfall model. Right? Waterfall model, I think we discussed. Basically, it's like a phase by phase approach. Once one phase is completed, the team will be moved to the next phase, and testing will become at the end. And because of the testing is at the end, it will be huge cost when the defects are identified, especially when people identify defects in requirements. So analysis phase related to the analysis or requirement phases, you have to go back and redo it entire uh, flow again and again phases, and you might have to have a huge cost. Right? So basically, because of that, that's the reason it has been given now. Right? So I think we discuss these things with. So hence I'm not going to read this section. So, but basically the problem with the so basically these are the challenges that had to be discussed. So waterfall, the the testing will last and a lot of time waste and a lot of uh, people at the QA will get a lot of workload at the end and no much interactions between each phases. So those all are challenges. Right? So I think that we discussed all of this. So as a solution, right? As a resolution, I think we discussed the iteration based software development model has introduced, and now we are in a different model. So that's called agile. So in the iterative development, also we have a latest software development model that's called agile. So I think we discussed about agile as well. So agile is basically kind of a collaborative development. So we collaboratively work together as a one single team, and we will do the delivery. So that's and we will do the small chunk of work, or we will divide the entire work into a small user stories, and we will deliver these user stories in a small iterations, and each iteration, so we will work as a very collaborative team with all the teams like business analysts or developers or QA engineers. We really work together very collaboratively and deliver the application. That's what happened right now, but we will deep dive a little bit. So it's not that as I mentioned, it's not as very straightforward as it is as well. So because of that, we will deep dive what's how agile will work in the in projects, and then we'll look at how it will be going to help for a QA. So basically, as I mentioned, so Agile is a kind of iterative development. We have incremental development, frequent deliveries, and working for the primary focus with the customers. Especially, we have frequent customer feedback because we will do the iterative frequent deliveries. So each end of the delivery, we will get the customer feedback or client feedback or stakeholder feedbacks, and we can do if there's anything to change, we can change it. And a lot of cross-functional teams work together, and very collaborative teams and self-organization teams. uh, kind of thing. So basically, people say it's not kind of a process itself; it's kind of a philosophy as well. So with set of values. So that's the one specific uh, statement we can describe agile, different type of statement, right? So so that's why people. So this very because of this nature of this process. agile development process. So people it's considered as a kind of a philosophy as well, right? So there are various variations, versions of agile. You could become up with real world. So we'll look at. So this is as I explained. So very incremental development will happen and multiple increments will go. So basically agile, there are many methodologies. Basically we call frameworks. There are various different frameworks available for agile. So these are three different but very commonly used frameworks. One called Kanban and one called Scrum, and another one called Safe Agile. So Safe, Kanban, and Scrum are very popular frameworks or methodologies that are available in Agile. So we will look at them and then we'll deep dive. So Scrum is a very lightweight process, right? So we split entire organization or your project team into a very small but cross-functional teams. The team will contain all type of resources, like business analysts, developers, qualification engineers. Likewise, we will have a cross-functional team, but very small and self-organizing team. So we basically split all the work releases most of the time 2 weeks sprints. We call 2 weeks sprints. So, but the sprint is a small duration that we will deliver few user stories or few small requirements. Sometimes this is the 2 weeks is not something hard and fast rule. So some organization they might go with 1 week, some organization might go with 2 weeks, some organization go with 3 weeks. So based on their business requirements, uh, team will focus on uh, different type of sprints, right? Different size of sprints. So basically, the agile is very. We will deep dive on this Scrum framework. So, but when we are explaining it as a summary, so it's a very lightweight process. So that's how we will do. So other one is the Kanban. That's also kind of a popular framework, but mostly Kanban is used on DevOps or software maintenance or software services projects. So the DevOps or the software maintenance or so those are deployment projects or services projects. Think once some software is go live, so there will be a live issues or the support or maintenance activities will be has to be performed. So for many years. So during that maintenance phases, people will raise tickets and people will get their requirement, get it changed or get it rearranged. So handle these tickets are also a little challenging in software development environment. So because of that, DevOps basically maintenance or DevOps projects is a very tough thing. So handle defects based on the criticality and priority. So for that, most of the time the Kanban is used as a agile framework that will support, especially on these kind of development work, small ticket incident handling, especially incident or ticket services handling. So that because it has continuous flow, and we take set of incidents or set of services for one sprint, and we continue. And so that's how it will be happen. Safe agile is another model, but this is basically we use for a large organization. Right? So it's not as so if you have large organization with a large business and large teams, so you can have multiple scrum teams, and we will have on top of that uh, main scrum team as well. So basically, if it's a very large organization, there are a large number of scrum teams are available. So we will use safe agile. So because uh, there will be a large amount of team running on to manage them, so we will use a safe agile framework. So that basically, so smaller or the average projects, people will not use safe. But if there are organizations like Microsoft or IBM, very complex and large project management activities are available, so probably we'll use safe agile models. Right? So these are the three key areas. uh, in the agile development framework that we can find out. So, but today I'm going to deep dive on the Scrum side because Scrum is the most popular and most of the organization because people will majority of organization will not like Microsoft or Google, large organizations. So because of their size and their work, so many organizations right now today use Scrum. So basically, Scrum is the most popular agile framework as well. So because of that, I am going to little bit deep dive on the Scrum before we move into the QA side of it. Right? You might know this all these things sometimes because of the other module that these concepts might be covered. So hence I'm trying to make it little fast. But if you have any questions, anything, you can ask while I'm running the session. So, so basically, from here and onwards, I'm deep dive on the Scrum, right? Not the other two. Right? So basically, agile team, Scrum team structure is like this. So we will have a Scrum team. Scrum team has three different roles. Basically, we on in a Scrum we only have three roles, not the three people, three roles. So one is product owner. So product owner is a very key person. He owning the product, or he will own the application. He know entire end-to-end requirement, and he know entire technology that we are going to use and how we are going to manage the work. Right? He is kind of a chief person of the Scrum, and there will be Scrum Master. The Scrum Master is uh, who will be managing, who will work aligned with the product owner, and he based on his input, he will manage in the work each sprint. What kind of thing we are going to deliver and how we are going to deliver, track the status, and work with very closely with the team, and he will manage the team. So team contain development, BA, and QA team. So we all of them we call development team. So here everybody, rest of all we call as a development team. Scrum Master and Product Owner we have, and rest of all we consider as a development team, right? So because of that, QA, Dev, BA, everybody considers a development. So basically team size will be 7 to 10. So sometimes it might go below even 7, maybe 3, 4, 5 team one size will be there, but it will not exceed most of the time about 10. But it, again, this is not hard and fast rule, but people will try to keep the team size within 7 to 10 to easiness of management and it is easy to achieve the objectives of the Scrum if it's have a smaller team. So we looked at who's a product owner, right? Product owner is basically he's the person who defining the vision, right? So it's very senior role, but basically he's the kind of head of this scrum. So he will define what kind of work he is going to take his scrum. Right? So basically we call backlog. So all the requirement we will call it a backlog, and he decide how he's going to manage backlog. He will prioritize. He will not prioritize his own. He will work with the team and prioritize, but he will own it. Right? He will prioritize the work, and he will oversee how these which sprint what is going to work and which sprint what we are going to work like at each sprint how we are going to separate the work, and he will look at the client needs. He will look at evaluate the progress and look at how these things are will be moving, right? So, and he will be starting the sprint, and he will complete the sprint, and he will drive into it, right? So basically, he's a key person, and he will have the entire requirement understanding. He will know the product. He is the visionary leader who will guide the team. This how this product will has to be evolved and developed, something like that. So product owner is a very key guy. So when usuals of uh, waterfall model, we don't have product owners, right? We just only have BA. Product owner is not a BA, but he should have BA skill, technical skills, and PM skills, and all those skills he should have. So basically, responsibilities, as I mentioned, he need to work with. users, organizations, stakeholders, everybody, and he need to determine which feature will develop and which order, and he need to clear vision of the each sprint how is be running, and he has the authority to decide about the sprints and all those things, and he's the responsible person at the end, and he need to make sure the manage all these ROI and cost and effectiveness and all those things. He has the responsibility. So basically, he need to have these type of skills as well. He need to have domain skill. He need to be a kind of a BA. He should know the end-to-end understanding about the requirements, functionality. So he need to have that strong domain skill. So unless he can't play the product role, right? He need to have people skill. He should be able to manage the team. Right? He need to be able to work with different stakeholders. He need to work with the client and various different people. Right? So because of that, he need to have very strong people skill. Same time, he need to have decision making skill because his decision will impact entire team and delivery, and at the end of the day, application quality and their product, right? So because of that, his decisions very powerful, and he need to be a very exactly correct decision and correct time. So that's the most challenging thing. Sometimes people will not get the correct decision, but not the correct time. But sometimes people will be incorrect decision, correct time. So that all will rise problems. Right? So that the decision making skill is very and accountability. So he has to be accountable. If something went wrong, he need to accountable for that, and he need to correct it. If everything goes on, then he is accountable to share this feedback with the team and appreciate them and make sure the team is motivated. Right. So that accountability is a very essential factor any Scrum product owner should have. And these are the four key areas. There are many other things, but these are the four key skills we expect from product owner. So Scrum Master. So Scrum Master is another different role. So basically, he is a kind of a facilitator. The product owner, like a visionary leader, Scrum Master is a kind of facilitator. He need to facilitate the meetings and agile process and agile coaching team, and he need to have a clear communication model, and he need to work with the team and motivate them and guide them and make it morale. And if there are any tool maintenance or technology maintenance reporting, especially the reporting, we need to have burn down charts, velocity charts, different charts, right? And we need to support team to block their blocker if there are any blockers to continue for a team. Then he Scrum Master need to work with the team. So these are the various different roles he has to play. So basically, he need to make sure everybody understand the goals that is defined by the product owner and the scopes and product incremental plan and how the process will run, and he need to make sure if there are any challenges for the team members, so how to fix them and move them forward. And he need to facilitate all these scrum meetings. There are certain set of meetings you need to have. We looked at what those meetings, and he need to like coach the team and guide them and mentor them and work with very closely with the product owner and drive the team based on the product owner's vision. So that's basically Scrum Master's responsibility, right? So basically, Scrum Master. So some people will think Scrum Master is a project manager. So actually not. Right? So project manager is a different role. So project manager role and responsibility basically they need to manage the project based on the project requirement. Since now we have moved, so there are a lot of large role for the project managers when we are doing the software development as a waterfall model. But now with the agile, project manager responsibility and dilute. Right? So they project manage. There will be some project managers for project, but these project managers will be a lot of roles that they previously own has been given to now Scrum Masters and the other people. So so that's how it will be happen. So So that's basically Scrum Master is a, not equal to a project manager. His role is little different. And now the project manager's roles also slowly getting, I can't say it's going to dead, but it's going to dilute, right? So because of the agile. So basically, we sometimes some organization might not require project managers. They might only require set of Scrum Masters who drive the Scrums. Any questions so far? Anything that you have? Anything? So why these things, different roles coming in also all good. If you have any questions, you can raise it. Even you can switch on the mic and talk, or either you can use the chat. Right? Right. So this is bit about how we are going to manage backlog. So basically, you will get a project, or you will have the initiate means you will have application requirement that coming into to develop. So this requirement will develop as a epics. Basically, it will be divided into a few epics. So if you want to implement a internet banking application. So there will be set of epics. Maybe fund transferring, it will be one epic. Bill payment will be another one. User registration will be another epic. Likewise, those will be epics. So under the epic, there will be multiple stories. Or if you take it as internet banking, fund transfer as a epic, then there will be a stories, fund transfer within my own accounts. So I might have multiple accounts in same bank. So then I need to transfer within my own. Fund transfer with different accounts but within the same bank. Then another user story. That means one user story with a own account transfer, one other account is different accounts but same bank. There will be another user story, fund transfer between different accounts and different banks. Maybe I need to fund transfer some of my friend in some other bank. So those are user stories. So you can divide it user stories, and in the inside the user stories, you can have multiple tasks to make your developer. So if you want, you can have multiple development tasks each story. So that's how the epics user stories and tasks will be organized in a Scrum. So basically, we call this entire thing we call backlog. You need to have a set of effects that clearly define as a requirement, and inside the requirement you will have multiple user stories, and each user story have various tasks, maybe development tasks, QA tasks, BA tasks, something like that, or different develop tasks. So that's how we will be managed. So this is a fundamental thing that we need to know. So this is some small example, right? So think, so I actually take it as a wish list. So think there are many online order booking applications, right? So online ordering applications, something like Daraz or Temu or something like application. So those applications, I rather you order, you can have your own wish list. That means you need to select set of items and save it to order later. So think there's a so that is so this wish list. So the requirement will be in the epic requirement will be right as this model as a customer. I won't be able to have a wish list so that I can come back and buy product later. This is how we will be developing a requirement in epic as a customer or as a employee or as some maybe different stakeholder. I need to do this. That's how the requirement will be written in the agile, especially in Scrum. So we call this is epic. This is a higher as a customer, I won't be able to have a wish list. So that I can come back and buy products because I'm going to save it and pay it. Right? So inside that you can have multiple stories. The first one is as a customer, I won't be able to save the product in my wish list. He's going to save whatever he want to buy later. So then that is one story. The other story is I won't be able to view my wish list, so I can buy from it. So he want to view, so he want to save it. That's a one story. Another one is he want to view it. There sometimes there might have another story. He want to delete it or he want to amend it. So there might have two use stories. One user story is create save, second one is view, third one is amend, fourth one will be delete. There will be many user stories common in one epic. So each user story you can have multiple tasks. Add to wish list button, create new DB, create pages in the web, create add view list link to the home page, and test all these functionalities, something like that. So you can have various tasks under each user story. And you need to make sure these tasks are achieved perfect and close. So that's how we will be managing the requirement in a Scrum project, epic stories and tasks. So I'm sure you're clear about this. If you don't have any clear understanding, you can raise your voice. So, okay. So if this is very clear, so let's move on to the other section. So sprint. So basically we will do the 2 to 3 week sprint, sometimes 1 to 2 weeks, sometimes 3 to 4 weeks. It will depend on the organization. The very first activity is before start the sprint, we need to backlog group. So what backlog grouping means, you need to prioritize and analyze, basically analyze the requirement and prioritize. So basically you have to write all the user stories that you have like this, and you need to decide which story you will do first, which stories you will going to do the second, which stories you will go to as third sprint, which stories you are going to do the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, next coming sprints, right? So this is what we have to do, that we call backlog review. Before start the sprint, you need to clear view, you need to do these tasks, and you need to have a backlog grooving as done, because you know which work you are going to. Then you will start the sprint. Once you start the sprint, you will do sprint planning. So because when you start the sprint, you know what are the user stories going to develop this specific sprint. So then you need to estimate them and plan them. So that estimating and planning we will do at the sprint planning session. So start of the each sprint. So every 2 or 3 weeks, think we have a 2 week sprint. The first day of the 2 week sprint, we will do the sprint planning, right? So we will do the sprint planning and we will continue. So if you during the planning, we will decide how which task going to whom and who's going to where and all this information. Right? So that's how we will do. Sorry, I think I got muted, right? I'm not sure which page. So let me come back again. Uh, since which page I got muted? I think, can I hope you can hear me right now, right? Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay, great. May I know which from which page you lost?
Sir, before the sprint planning slide.
Okay, great. So the before difference, I will discuss about the grooming, backlog grooming. This is how we are going to do the backlog grooming. So uh, so backlog, this is as explained in this slide. So backlog grooming will be done like this. So we will have the set of backlog, and will all the team members get together and they will find out which sprint what we are going to do, right? So this is rearranging the backlog and all those things, right? It's very clear. So then we will move into the sprint planning. Right now we are in the discussion in the sprint planning. Part of sprint planning, we have key activity that is we call estimation. Right? We have to estimate all the activities. So that's a fundamental requirement. Right? So estimation we do using story points. In Agile, in Scrum, we use story points. Basically, story points have various defined numbers. The first one is 0 days, point 0.5 days, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 5 day, 8 days, 13 days, 20 days. So, likewise, we will have defined efforts, right? So these defined efforts we will be using to do the estimation. So in here, we use the planning poker activity to do the estimation. The poker is a game. I mentioned when I'm doing the estimation session previously. So planning poker will be used for the agile estimation. So planning poker is a game. Poker is a game, and we are using the poker game to do the estimation. So we will have a card set with these efforts: 0, 0.5, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 20, 40, 100, and question mark is undefined estimate. Likewise, we will have a card set. Every team member will have a card set. So if we decided to do the estimation, think in our wish list scenario I mentioned, if you have to create add button, so if we have to create an add button, so we need to estimate for add button. So think then we will ask each and every engineer to estimate themselves, his own, and keep it within them. Once everybody once everybody is complete the estimation, we will what will happen was Scrum Master will ask show your estimation. So then team will take your poker card and will show. So some might mention it's one, some might mention two, some might mention three, some major, and based on the card showing, the majority of the people who mention the effort who mentioned, we will take as a final effort. So think majority has mentioned it's two, then we will have a two. So that's how we will be decide the effort. But individually, everybody has to estimate it, and then we will get the majority of people who mention. So it's kind of a democracy that we are doing in other places as well. It might be wrong. Then people can argue and we can redo it. The good thing is, so in regular democracy, if we have done, you have done it. You can't change it, right? Once you voted, you don't have a way to withdraw your vote. But here, if people argue that you are to, though majority has voted for a two, so then we will allow to do the re-estimation and show the card again and correct it. We have that opportunity. Right? It's like a P. The power is with people, not once. So in generic democracy, once you vote, you don't have power, right? Until you come to the next project, right? But here it's not like that. So you have the power to change the culture as well, right? So power with the people. That the concept is used agile, right? So that's more one of more socialist concept is used in agile, right? Okay, so that's how planning poker will be used to do the estimation. That task will be taken with the sprint planning activity. So in addition to this number, we have different techniques as well that we t-shirt sizing. So we know in the t-shirts we have different sizes, right? Small, medium, large, extra large, double extra L, or extra small, something like that, right? Similarly, effort also we can bucket it. So 1 to 3 days we will tell small. 5 to 8 we will tell medium, right? 13 to 20 we will say large, and extra large 40, double XL, then it will go beyond 100, something like that. We will have multiple t-shirt size, multiple buckets, and we will put our efforts into multiple buckets, and we will be estimate like that. Think if you come across a something seven, estimation is 7, you will take the medium bucket. If something estimation is 80, you will take as a large bucket. You are getting something 50, then we will extra large. If you are get something 120, we will go double X, or something like that. So we will have a t-shirt sizing story estimation. This is another concept we can use, t-shirt sizing. Also, we can use some organization will do this, right? So they are not going by exact number based on the estimation they get. So they will bucket it into a small, medium, large, and extra large, something like that. That also will be used. So this some few examples of how we are going to do this story point. But again, we will do basically using planning poker model, and we will do the estimation. That's how it's in the sprints we do the estimation, right? Okay. So once we have done the estimation, we will continue with the uh, work. Right? So then we will assign the work to individual, and we will continue. That's the planning, sprint planning, what will happen. So once it's sprint planning happen, we will continue with the work. This is kind of a dashboard we're going to use. I will leave the dashboard in later. Okay, next thing is daily standard. Right? So daily scrum meetings or daily standard. So what is daily standard? So every day, entire scrum team has to get together to one place, and they have to answer these three questions. What did I do yesterday? Every engineer had to tell Manavata what did I have done. So what we'll do today, what he's going to do, and any impediments. That means any blockers, any challenges to continue his work. If there are think if they have some problem with the network, so he can't connect to the server, then he can say, I didn't do anything yesterday, and but I am planning to redo it today, but I have problem, I have a network issue, something like that. He had to give the update. So we'll get together. It's a very small time box event, maybe 15-minute maximum, and get together the same place, same time, and we'll tell our status. Based on the status, Scrum Master will take care of the challenges or anything they have to. So every day is daily start, and we will be measuring our dashboards as well. This is a Scrum dashboard. We will keep our user stories in this different state in progress, or to do, or doing, verifying, testing, verifying means testing, or done. So if it's a to do, that means you need to do. So if you are going to do it, that means you are implementing. If you are verifying, means you are testing. So your task, my day to day, your task will go one step ahead, and finally it will move to a done section. If you are able to complete all the tasks within the sprint time period, you are good with all your status. So if you're unable to complete few tasks, so then you might have to spill over to the next sprint. But the Scrum Master's responsibility makes sure all the tasks slowly move to the to do, to doing, verifying, and done state. Right? So every day we need to change this. Either we can use Scrum, this is Jira Scrum dashboard, or either you can use manual dashboard with the paste it, and you can move it like that, or you can have automated dashboard with the tools as well. But dashboard will be monitored during the daily scrum. Basically, these are the things we're going to discuss. And burn down charts, or the volume charts will be used to measure. Burn down charts means how you have been planned to deliver and how you are going to achieve your end deliver. So you are sometimes you might go with the plan as planned, or sometimes you might not going with the as planned, but later you put a huge effort and complete something like that. In different way you can complete, but you need to make sure you complete on time. So that's these burn down charts will be also used to measure how we are processing daily. Right? So that's what will happen in the daily stand. Any questions so far? Or good with the what is daily stand up? So then the last one, then retrospective meeting. So once you have done with this entire agile process, agile sprint, you need to do a retrospective meeting. That means you need to do a discussion. Basically, what you will do is in the respective. So basically, this is what worked well. You need to list down all the things went well, and all the things didn't go well. So something went wrong, and what we are going to do differently in the next sprint based on your learning. What we are going to do, you need to do these three things. What worked well, you need to list down. So then everybody know these are the good things happen in the sprint, and what didn't work. So then you know these things didn't work, and these are the problems. And this is final decision how we are going to change the things in next sprint. So then according to that, you need to move on. So respective meeting, we will discuss very openly all the team honestly and share their thoughts, and we will list down all our feedback like these three columns, and finally we come to a conclusion and we'll move on. This retrospective meeting is very important because that makes sure we deliver correct direction the correct way after every sprint. If you have done something wrong, you can change it in this sprint. So very democratic model, right? Right? So basically, your happiness, your sadness, your feelings can be shared in the restaurant. So, and during the retrospective, you will find out if there are anything that you couldn't complete, you will make it to an spill. We call it spillovers. You need to identify what are the spillovers and make sure you bring spillovers to next sprint. That's how the agile process. So, especially Scrum will move on. So ideally, the Scrum Master is responsible to make sure everything getting delivered, but due to various reasons, something unable to deliver, that we call as spillover, and we spillover we will be moving to a next sprint, and we will continue with the spillovers. So that's how it will happen. So that's basically, and we will measure team velocity, how much of work they can deliver. But this is the plan, and this is how we might deliver the plan work as it is. Sometimes we might not deliver plan work. If it is not delivered plan work, we will have to spill over to the next sprint, and you have to measure the team velocity as well at that. So you can have various diagrams like this, right? You can measure it, your velocity. Velocity and burn downs are very special measurements that need to measure during Scrum. Basically, this is Scrum advantage is basically you can have early delivery, you can adapt very easily, stakeholder management is very easy because you can deliver small chunks and get the feedback. Risk is very low, high quality, sustainability, all those. I think that we discussed. So when it comes to the QA process, it's the same. So I think we will use the same model. Only thing is there won't be any changes. We will participate daily. We will participate backlogs identification and backlog planning, and then we will participate on the sprint planning session. Then we will go the daily Scrum meetings, and we will participate in the daily retrospective, and we will continue as rest of other teams. There's no change whether you are a QA or right. Basically, usual process, right? So agile advantages I think we discussed. Yeah, again. So, so, so in addition to this, right? So that's where I need to show that how QA can bring more value in a child. So this is basically the how Scrum team will work. So basically, Agile we have many frameworks, but most of the organizations now adapt to the Scrum because it's very easy and very user friendly one. and it's for a good for a medium smaller size organization. Even large organization they can, unless they are complex and very large companies. So because of that, most of the organization right now move to the Scrum, right? So I what I have briefed till now is how the Scrum will go to work. So there will be a few QA variations of the Scrums. So then I am going to deep dive those next. So how QA has been evaluated to the Scrum. Are we clear up to now? So are you all clear what we have discussed so far? So there's a two different concepts. We call test-driven development and behavior-driven development. Okay. So test-driven development is testers will drive the development, not the testers. Test cases will drive the development, right? So your testing will drive the development. Basically, so how test-driven development will be used is basically test-driven development is used in Agile. It's basically again an iterative process. So what we do is at the requirement is completed, once we identified which requirement going to implement for this sprint or something like iteration, we will derive test cases immediately. You will have your own test cases, and if required, we will be automated as well. Your automation suite also will be available. When development team is completing his work, and developer will use these test cases as an acceptor. We call acceptance testing. Test-driven development use the acceptance testing concept. Basically, test cases will be the input for a developer. So once the test cases are written, developer will write the code to make sure test cases get passed. Based on the test cases, you will write your code. So that's why we call test driven. Test driven. Based on the test, you will drive your develop code. And once you've done the code, test case will be got executed, and you could be able to uh, get pass, right? You would be able to make market pass, right? So because the developer will writing his code based on the test case, so automatically we call it the test driven development, right? So that's a one way of agile we use one different concept, test driven development. Once entire test application is developed, the entire test suite will be executed, and we will check whether code is acceptable or not, right? So I'm not going to deep dive coding part right now. We can look at little currently a little later. So few benefits. Basically, benefits are because this kind of a test case make sure the code is working very perfect, and refactoring is very easy. And we will have a kind of very automated regression suite, very low level automated regression suite, making sure the application runs well. And so test comes first, and because of that, you can identify less bugs, and you can have a faster quality delivery. Sometimes the drawbacks basically the sometimes developer might feel little annoying because the test cases will going to drive their developer, right? Sometimes they might think waste of time or maybe annoying. And testing part of the maintenance part of it might be very hectic because the test case they have to update and change it and then do the code changes. And you might have to rewrite tests whenever the changes comes, right? Requirement changes come, you have to rewrite the test. Right? Then only you can move on to the development. So because of that, those are very little challenges, right? Drawbacks. Right? So other thing is a BDD. So alternative for the test-driven development that we use BDD. BDD. What's the difference is BDD is again is not a testing methodology. It's a software development methodology. So first we will write the behavior of the application. Requirement will come as a behavior of the application. And behavior based on the behavior of the application, we will write the code and we will write the test cases. And we use simple English-based language to write the behavior. Rather write in the test cases, business analysis, write the behavior. We draw the behavior of the application using set of commands. We call given, when, then. So these are uh, we tell Gherkin language. There's a language called Gherkin. So we use the Gherkin language. In the Gherkin language, we use given, when, then commands. Using given, when, then commands, we can write the requirement. We call it a behavior. It's a behavior of the application. And then using the behavior, we will write the code and we'll write the test cases parallelly and we'll execute that day. So behavior-driven development is another technology, another concept, another framework we use. Basically, it's an extension to test driven. So it's a kind of extension because the TDD has some of drawbacks. People have figured it out this BDD approach. So basically, this is how we will have a scenario and we will write the requirement given, when, then format. So each scenario, this is maybe in a user story, you might have multiple use scenarios. Each scenarios you will write given, when, then format. Right? So this is given, when, then format. So this is a sample scenario. Login check. You are going to check whether login button is available. So then this is how we will be write the requirement. Given I am on the login page, when I enter username and I enter password, and when I click on the login button, then I am able to log into success. Basically, scenario given when I am on the login page, when I enter the username password and click on login button, then I am able to log into success. This is how we will be write the requirement. This is we call given, when, then statement using the Gherkin language. This Gherkin language is used to write this, and this is the requirement we will get for both developers and testers. Developer will use this given, when, then scenario, and he will develop his code, and tester will develop his test case and make executing against the code and making sure the requirement is achieved. So that's how we will do the BDD. We will check this. We will do this practical part at the latter part of the session. So once we started automation series of automation session, one session will focus on BDD. So I will let you know how to write BDD scripts. Practical part we will cover. So I am here right now covering the concept part. So I'm not going to do. The benefit is this is very strong collaboration and shorter learning curve because English like language very easy to understand and very easy to adapt this BDD, and we can eliminate a lot of waste, right? So and everybody can understand BDD very easily. So this is how it will be helpful. So any questions about the BDD and TDD till now? Okay, so if you don't have any question, we'll move on. So when we looked at the differences, right, this is how BDD and TDD difference. Basically, TDD starts the test case. TDD starts with the scenarios, like behavior. Basically, focus on how functionality implement, which focus on the behavior of the application. Here, basically, it's a functionality. Test cases written in the program language. So here, the scenario behavior is written in the simple English-like language, right? Changes to the application functionality impact is always test cases get impacted. Here the scenarios will get impacted and will not much impact on the rest of the area. So collaboration are required only between developers. So here the collaboration with all the team members is required. Right? Especially, this is better approach for the API or third-party tools or something like that. But here, good approach for a lot of domain-specific cases. The tool specific, that you can use JUnit, testing, and unit these unit testing, PyTest, and all these tools. You can all these unit testing technologies you can use. But when it comes to the BDD, you get to use uh, something tool like Cucumber. Cucumber is one of famous thing. Or JBehave. There's another tool called JBehave. You have to use Cucumber or JBehave. That's a very famous tool that you use for the Gherkin language that you can use and reduce likelihood of having defects. So a lot of defects reductions, defects in the test cases that. So this is again test cases are a little different, challenging. Like not here, this is very everything all depend on the test cases, but the BDD is not like that. So these are the two different differences between two BDD and TDD. If you look at the main differences. Okay, so let's move on. Do you have any other questions? The- So about TDD, so this is part of Agile again. So these technologies, so basically these frameworks will be used for within the Scrum. So some organization will use TDD, but now TDD most of the organizations are not going to use because of the BDD. Most of the organizations adapt to the BDD now, right? So as a part of this Agile model, so most of the organization right now in the BDD. Right? So these are variations of uh, the model. So, but mostly because of the user friendliness and a lot of advantages that we have, people has moved to BDD. But we practically looked at how to work on a BDD project when it's part of the power automation. And so this is conceptual. That's what I need to cover. Okay, so you will have a small exercise. So I will share this, so you can try it your own. So if you when you have your own time, but try that something good example. So I will uh, share this. They call it shared, and you can look at study as well. So so I'm not going to do this here. This is a small activity, but try it your own. But I will share the answer for this. So I have given three activities, right? I will share the answers next week of this, right? So then you can review your answers whether it's correct or not. So do you have any other questions? So two things I want to show. So these are two agile certificates. Scrum Alliance, they have CSM certificate or CSPO. CSM is certified Scrum Master. This is certified Product Owner. These are little expensive certifications. I don't think you want to try, but I just want to share this kind of certifications are there. But you can try. There are few free certifications for Agile in LinkedIn. Right? You can try them. LinkedIn have few free courses. Find out and try to do them. Right? And another thing I want to mention is so I have been already shared the assignment. So you will be given 2 weeks period to submit the assignment. So make sure you start working on the assignment. The assignment is the project creating a quotations plan based on the initial discussion, previous sessions what we have done. You have to develop a quotations plan. So you have given a template as well. So template is given and you need to work on it. So next week we will do a kind of a hands-on session how to do the assignment. So I will guide them, but you have to do your own. I only thing is I can guide them how to use the all the sessions that I have completed so far. That content will be required to deliver your test plan. So go through all the. I already shared the videos as well, so then you can go through those videos and try to understand and try to do that. So next session we will do the how to do the assignment, right? So and I will guide you. So basically, make sure you submit the assignment on time because it's very straightforward one. I don't think I try to do additional effort or anything because we have a tough timeline as well. You need to complete rest of automation activities also, right? Uh, I think that's all I have to do. So make sure you do the assignment. Uh, if possible, we'll do two physical sessions next week so that it'll be easy to answer your questions as well. So that's all I have right now. Do you have anything, any questions, or anything? Okay, then stop the recording.